Welcome to the Art of Classiness Podcast, a show where we redefine what it means to be a classy lady. And sometimes it's messy. I'm Robin.
And I'm Deborah, two friends turned classy ladies who are here to discuss life's ups and downs, navigating the complexities of adulthood, and how the gift of friendship is essential to belonging.
Today we're diving into some tricky Am I the Asshole scenarios that have people questioning loyalty, boundaries, and the unspoken expectations in their closest relationships.
From being the rich friend who's tired of covering the bill, to the sibling caught between a brother's secret and a sister-in-law's trust. We're breaking it down and, of course, asking, is it classy or is it crass?
So follow along, give us your feedback, and don't forget to like and subscribe. What's up, classy ladies and gentlemen? Let's do a little check-in. How are you, Deborah?
I am great. It is a gorgeous day out here. We are winding down the school year, and I'm just trying to stay positive, but I have a gripe I need to share.
Okay.
And it's kind of ironic because I know this is our Am I the Asshole episode, and this is an Am I the Asshole question, not to jump the gun on our topic, but I need to know.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So it's Sunday. It's Mother's Day. And I am going on my nightly walk with my son and my dog, 𝗂𝐭. Now, if you're a longtime listener of this show, you might know that I have a reactive dog that I've actively been trying to train to be less reactive on the leash. He has a ferocious bark, but he is also the sweetest boy in the world. He's been around children. He's been around other dogs. He literally has all bark, no bite. Like when dogs approach him on the trail, he lays down. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would never keep him in my house if I thought he was an aggressive dog. My neighbors to the right, not social neighbors. Okay. These are not in the group of people I hang out with. They have two dogs. Every time we go by their house, first house in the neighborhood, these dogs lunge at the front door. They go nuts. There's like two of them. And of course, it always activates 𝗂𝐭, right? It's the beginning of the walk. And not to mention, these are dogs he can see and smell through the fence, but he can't get to, right? So it's like the temptation dogs, just like right there. And there's another dog at the end of the street that when it's out is always like going hard at the fence, and 𝗂𝐭 reacts to those dogs. So it's hard, but it's right out the gate. He's always going nuts when he hears those dogs, but I'm still trying to expose him to them in the hopes that he will just get over it. So it's Mother's Day. Everybody is outside. It's a beautiful day. I'm taking him. We turn right. He starts barking like crazy to the dogs who are also throwing themselves at the door trying to get to 𝗂𝐭, okay? And a neighbor across the street who's like power washing his driveway, he spins around with his power hose pointed at me. And I thought he was just joking, like, put him up. And so I was like, don't shoot. And he was like, you have an aggressive dog. You need to get that dog under control, okay? He's like, I have trained German Shepherds before. Your dog has all the control. You can't handle this dog on a walk at all. I see him pulling you all the time. He's going to get out. He's going to attack somebody one day. And this man has like always been nice to me. He's always like said hello. Like it just came out of nowhere. Him not only yelling at me, but yelling at me in front of my son, talking to me like I am a bad dog mom.
Oof.
But I maintained my composure. I said, he is not an aggressive dog. He has an aggressive bark. I am working with him actively to have him better on the leash. He's doing far better on the leash than he was when I first got him. And he was point after point being like, pit bulls can be dangerous. And I don't know if your dog's a pit bull, but like if he gets out, someone's going to have to call animal control, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like trying to stay calm, being like, the dogs across the street activate him because they literally throw themselves at the door to try to get to him. I would never keep my dog in a house with children if I thought he was a threat to anyone. Like, I'm laying out everything I just laid out to you. And it honestly was so infuriating. And I just was like, we're not turning right down the street anymore. We're going left. I'm not walking by these people's houses anymore. I don't want to see this guy. I just wanted to remove myself from the situation. But it like broke my heart in a weird way. I can't explain it. I came home and I bawled my eyes out.
Mm.
I don't know why it like emotionally hit me so hard. I think it was a matter of like, you just yelled at me in front of my son. you are making me feel like not only a shitty pet owner, but like a shitty mom. Like the implication that you think I'm just being reckless with an aggressive dog when I have kids in my home.
Yeah.
And you know what? If he was genuinely concerned, there are better ways to approach me in that situation.
Truly. And I'm sorry, I used to train German Shepherds. If you were like an actual dog trainer, you would not say that about pit bulls. No, he's totally the asshole in this, in all of this. He's an asshole.
Okay, good.
It's none of his fucking business, first of all. 𝗂𝐭 has never charged at him or his family. You always have 𝗂𝐭 on the leash when you take him out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just think it's none of your concern, sir.
Yeah. And if you were really concerned, you could have been like, hey, I noticed you're having a hard time with 𝗂𝐭. Like, what kind of methods have you used? Like, if you ever want any help, I used to train dogs.
Can I make some suggestions? And you know what? Speaking of aggressive barks, jeez.
Yeah, you have an aggressive bark. Maybe someone needs to put you on a leash, sir.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm glad that I got that off my chest because it's really been pissing me off this week.
He's a prick.
I'm right, he's wrong, and that's all that matters.
For the most part, like, he's wrong with his approach.
Like, you want to give me some tips, I would love to hear them, but this is not the way to present that information to me. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Great.
I'm lying. I've been feeling
okay.
like shit.
Oh, that's right. Newtown allergies.
Yeah, well, that and just the move has taken its toll. I was talking about that last week. It's really affecting my inflammation. Just all my autoimmune stuff is out of whack. But I've got some lymphatic massages scheduled. And my doctor told me to go see a chiropractor, which I've never done, and ask them to work on my vagus nerve.
Oh.
So apparently chiropractors can work on that. I had no idea. So I guess I'll give that a try. Chiropractors have always scared me.
I see a chiropractor. They only use the tool adjustment, no manual adjustments. I don't want someone simulating breaking my back in half. That shit freaks me out so much.
Yeah.
But you can find them that use the tool, and it's just like a little tap, 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 tap. And I don't know any other way. I've never, ever been scared that I'm going to be internally decapitated or paralyzed as a result.
Okay.
So it is an option, just so you know.
That's good to know. Because, yeah, it's a little terrifying to me. But I am intrigued.
Yeah.
Because if that's true, that'd be amazing. Like, I've been reading about the vagus nerve and how to activate it naturally. There's tons of stuff I can do on my own. But aside from that, I've just been working on getting the house put together. And I got our rugs. And I am so excited to, like, turn this office into my little oasis. I got this, like, it's a ruggable and it has the graphics of like a jungle.
Yes.
So there's trees and tigers, some birds, and then there's like a starry night sky. And I got some furniture to match it. And then like behind me, I'm going to put these like velvet curtains. It's going to be mood central.
Love it. I know. The pictures look great. I can't wait for you to make it feel like your homey little pod corner.
Yes. Okay, so let's move on to our classy combo, and this week is our recurring segment of Am I the Asshole? Today, we're breaking down 4 sticky scenarios where boundaries, loyalty, and friendship collide, and we're going to declare who's the asshole here and what we can learn from it. Deborah, do you want to start?
I do. So this is a future tense. Would I be the asshole if I told a close family friend that her husband cheated on her 4 years ago? So my situation is a little difficult, so I thought I would confide in the good professional people of Reddit. A couple days ago, me and my brother were hanging out late night doing regular guy things, drinking, watching sports, etc. We haven't seen each other in maybe 5 or 6 years, so naturally, we started talking about life and what's been going on the past few years. Towards the end of our conversation, we started to get into secrets. And I mentioned something, I love this so much. I'm just thinking of 2 boys in like sleeping bags. Yeah, like, can I tell you a secret? Okay, we started getting into secrets. I mentioned something along the lines that I smoked weed for the first time and did various other substances. This was hard for me to tell because my whole life I was pretty much anti-drugs and such. We both laughed about it, saying, "Just don't let Mom find out." The joke died down, and after a little bit, he just blurted out, "I cheated on my wife." At first, it didn't register until I saw his face and he was dead serious. I, for one, hate cheaters, but I try to do my best not to judge anyone for their actions. He begins explaining this was something that happened about 4 years ago when his wife was always busy with work. She would travel a lot and be away for weeks at a time. He told me that they were going through a tough time back then, lots of arguing, not communicating, and that felt really lonely. During this time, my brother met a girl at his local gym, started off as friends, slowly kept bonding, and, you guessed it, they had sex. He told me this occasion only happened once, and he pretty much cut her off after that night because he started to feel guilty. A few months later, his relationship turned for the better for him and his wife. Pretty much after his wife travels slowed down, his whole relationship has been great. They've both gotten promotions, bought a house, and had more family vacations. They have a kid. He told me life has been good to him now, and he's just thankful things finally worked out. As stated before, I hate cheaters, and I've always felt that the person being cheated on always has the right to know. I know for sure this would probably destroy their marriage, and there would be a fight for the kid. My heart tells me I have to tell her because it's the right thing to do, especially because I've known my brother to cheat one other time on an ex-girlfriend a couple years before his current wife. My brain tells me it's none of my business and I should keep my mouth shut. I don't want to see their kid go throughout that kind of pain either. On one hand, I betray my brother if I say something, and on the other hand, I betray our close family friend because I know this secret and I don't say anything. I wish he never told me. Ignorance is truly bliss. So, there it is. Would I be the asshole if I said something?
So just to clarify, this close family friend is his sister-in-law.
Yeah.
It's his brother's wife. That's a weird way to phrase this, but I guess they're just trying to say, like, I have a relationship with this person aside from her being married to my brother.
Yeah, he's obviously considers her, not just family, but someone he's friends with.
Okay. I understand the desire to tell the wife because she does deserve to know to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
Not to a certain degree. She deserves to know, but at the same time, like when you hear the story from the brother's perspective and you see that he truly feels remorseful, he hasn't done anything since, he's only done what he can to better their marriage. Yeah, don't be a homewrecker, dude. They have a kid.
100% agree. I think he would be the asshole if he told. First of all, blood is thicker than water. This is your brother, and your brother confided in you. Now, if he really feels a guilt, he should talk to his brother about maybe telling his wife, but it is not this guy's place to tell the wife for his brother. First of all, I'm going to say a controversial take. There are worse things than infidelity. And you do not know what goes on in a marriage if you are not in that marriage. So you don't know. She could maybe completely try to take 100% custody of the kids. He might end up finding out that the wife cheated when she was doing all the traveling. And he might accidentally open a whole can of worms that makes their marriage spiral at the same time. You do not know what goes on in a relationship. And yeah, you said it, like it sounds like the brother is remorseful. He cut off that relationship as soon as it escalated, which can we also just touch on the fact that like married men should not make friends at the gym with a member of the opposite sex?
Truly.
Like, how many times do we have to say it? No new friends. No new friends. So, like, shame on the husband for cheating. Shame on the husband for using his wife's business travel as an excuse to have an extramarital affair. And also, good for the husband for cutting off the situation, for, sounds like putting in the work into his marriage and now getting to a place where they are happy.
That bit of information is key. They've known each other's family since they were kids. And I am not making excuses for the brother, but it seems like maybe him and this girl like started their relationship really young.
Mm-hmm.
And when she started working, and of course, I'm filling in some gaps here. I could be wrong. But maybe when she started traveling a lot for work and he was feeling lonely, he didn't know how to talk to her about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he had to learn those skills like later.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm just, because we don't know how old they are.
Right. That's a very good point.
And I'm not trying to like make what he did okay. I'm just thinking like, yeah, that's a stupid thing to do just because you're lonely. But it might be the easier thing to do than to talk to your wife about something that makes you uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If that's not something that you're used to doing.
Yeah, this is where it gets hard because he didn't know how to communicate to his wife that he was feeling lonely and maybe even abandoned. And so by him not having the tools to work on his marriage, he utilized a tool that would surely end his marriage. And the irony is that by him doing that, it kind of showed him that he did not want to do that, right?
Yeah.
So it's an interesting arc. Now, this would be an entirely different story if he said, I am cheating on my wife with a girl at the gym.
Absolutely.
Then totally different. And in that situation, I would say to the poster that the response could be, if you don't tell her by this date, then I will. Right?
I still feel like that's aggressive.
I don't love it, but it could be a tool of like, I'm going to give you the opportunity to do the right thing, but you can bold-faced lie to your wife every day. I'm not going to bold-faced lie to a friend and my sister-in-law every day. So you need to come up with a game plan to tell her what's going on.
That's a good point. I feel awful for the brother who confided in OP because clearly it's not something they've ever told anyone else.
Right.
And the first time they're vulnerable with OP's like, well, I got to spill the beans on this one.
Right.
This one's a lose-lose.
Mm-hmm.
Either you're the sibling who betrayed their brother or the friend who kept a devastating secret.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, let me ask you this. What would you do if your sister told you that she had cheated on her partner 4 years ago and you were friends with her partner?
I would just talk to my sister about my feelings about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have a really good relationship with so-and-so. Like, why would you give me this information? Because now I want to protect you, but I also feel like I'm keeping something from my friend. Like, you've put me in a really bad spot.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm never going to betray my sister.
Right.
I know that for a fact. I would never betray my sister like that.
Right. I think that's really what it comes down to. And the hard thing with secrets and lies is that the shame feeds off the secrecy, right? And when you are living in a shame-based mentality, as this guy probably has been for the last 4 years, especially now that his marriage is better, to be like, oh my God, I cannot believe I did this. And she doesn't know and nobody knows I'm just living with this secret. When you can confide in someone else, it's kind of like letting the air out.
Mm-hmm.
And then to find out that the person you confided to, it potentially might use that information against you. All it does is make you want to crawl back into your shame hole,
mm-hmm.
And when you're in a shame hole, you're only going to continue to make bad choices. So this is where I think that the brother needs to
go to therapy.
They probably both need to go to therapy, quite honestly. But I think the poster needs to honor his brother's trust. And I think maybe have a better relationship with him. They said they didn't see each other in like 5 or 6 years. Like, find more of a reason to check in with your brother. Make sure he's still on the straight and narrow. Like, serve a little bit as like a guidepost for that brother to make sure he doesn't do that shit again.
And here's a thought. They haven't seen each other in 5 or 6 years. The affair happened 4 years previous. Maybe this guy was lonely in other ways as well.
Yeah. Yes.
Just a thought.
That's a great point. They clearly didn't have the type of relationship in that time frame where the brother could reach out to the poster and say, I'm really stressed about my marriage. Things aren't going well. And then maybe if he had that outlet, he wouldn't have made the poor decision that he did.
Yeah.
So this should just be a wake-up call for the poster that he needs to check in on his brother more.
Yeah. Why don't you focus on being a better brother?
be a better brother. And also, if you haven't seen him in 5 or 6 years, what are you worried about? Where are you going to run into the sister-in-law if you're like not even seeing each other that frequently?
Right. I'm like, how close are you to the sister-in-law?
Right.
If you haven't even seen your brother in 5 to 6 years, I don't know. It's not adding up to me. It sounds like you've just known this person your whole life. I don't think they're actually close.
No.
So, OP, you're the asshole.
There we go. There it is.
Declared.
Declared. You're the asshole. Get a life, buddy.
Seriously. Mind your own fucking business.
Wow, we really turned on him quick at the end there.
Well, I started to piece it together. Like, wait, if you haven't seen your brother in 5 or 6 years, you haven't seen his wife in 5 or 6 years. Like, you're not close.
Yeah. You just like drama.
Yeah.
You don't have any drama. You just tried drugs for the first time as a grown adult. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Get some excitement in your life.
Get fucked. I don't know why I got so aggressive all of a sudden.
I love that. I love that so much.
I went from like seeing both sides to being really mad.
Like, yeah, you know what? Fuck this guy. Fuck this guy.
Well, I guess it's my turn now.
Yep, let's hear. What do you got?
Am I the asshole for refusing to pay and leaving my friends in a restaurant as the rich friend? I, 20 female, have an amazing group of friends, 7 people from university. We met in our second year and have been super close ever since. For context, we go to a relatively expensive college with no scholarship, so it's safe to assume all of us are somewhat well off. When we were first getting to know each other, we often went out for brunch and drinks and split the bill most of the time. However, I've been raised to never let others pay and would offer to cover the bill whenever I could. No one else offered to cover, but I believe it's just not common where they're from. A few months ago, we were talking about our parents' occupations, and I told them about my family. A quick Google search of my name brings up my father's page. However, they had never connected the dots regarding our relation. My father is well known in the real estate industry and makes quite a bit of money. Since then, I've been labeled as the rich friend in our group. Whenever we go shopping, I'm expected to buy expensive items for myself and Uber everywhere instead of using public transport. When I do shop cheaper, it becomes a spectacle. I also feel guilty whenever I pull out only my portion in cash since I can tell it makes everyone else uncomfortable to then dig through their bags for their share. Therefore, I often just end up covering anyways. A few weeks ago, it was one of my friend's 21st birthday, and I told him I would pay for an activity as a birthday gift. We went out and had a nice dinner as a group. I didn't mind since I offered. What bothered me was when I turned 20 recently and was hoping my friends would take care of me for one day, I usually never have this expectation, but was really let down since I always seem to be the one treating everyone else, even on my special day. Oh, my last straw was when we went on vacation recently to my home country. They, as usual, made plans for a pub crawl night. I initially didn't intend on going since I had scheduled dinner with my parents later that night. I eventually caved and ended up going for only a few hours. During that time, I had maybe one drink, but I hadn't eaten all night. I decided to call it a night after 2 hours to go have dinner with my family. Before I was leaving, however, one of my friends asked if I could quickly cover the tab before I left. I would have usually agreed, but this circumstance felt different since I hadn't eaten and barely drank. I also didn't want to come in the first place. This time, it seemed like they were trying to use me to pay even if it was unintentional. I simply said I would, but left without paying. I got a text later from one of them saying, "I thought you said you paid, LOL. How was dinner?" We brushed over that instance quite easily, but their behavior from that night still bothers me. It seems like I have become the rich friend character that always pays for their friends. How do I fix this without seeming like an asshole?
Oh, God. There's so many things to unpack with this. First of all, she seems to suffer from people-pleasing disease big time.
People-please disease.
People-pleasing disease is what she's got. Because it's a lot of projecting. Like, so what? Your friends are digging through their purse to pay. You don't have to interpret that as them being like, oh, I gotta pay. And then be like, never mind, I got it. I got it. Like, that is an overreaction. And if you just take a beat and take a pause, they would probably have gladly taken out their credit card to pay for things when you're going shopping. Like, that is crazy to me.
Yeah.
So that's like the first thing that's screaming at me is like she seems to be taking care of people without them asking her to do that. So she has taught her friends how she treats them every time they do something.
You make a very valid point, and I think that's the issue here.
Mm-hmm.
She has set a kind of expectation,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not saying it's right. I think it's rude of her friends to allow her to pay for so many things and then not reciprocate in any way. Like, they didn't do anything for her birthday.
Yeah.
They're just walking all over her.
She's enabled this situation, but she is completely valid for feeling maybe even rejected at worst, but really disregarded at best. Like, she's not being shown value of people who are taking care of her the way that she's taking care of them. But I will say, people don't owe you reciprocity the same way that you take care of them. Meaning, just because she likes to pay for people's activities and pay for dinner for someone's birthday, if the expectation is you're doing that because I would like the same thing to be done to me in return, you're already going to set yourself up for disappointment.
I don't think she has that mindset, though. Like, she only brought up her birthday because that's a special day, and I don't think it's about the money. It doesn't seem like they planned anything for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's where it's, in the beginning, she talks about how nobody's poor. They all have money. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so that's what makes it even more weird, that this specific instance where they're like, hey, can you go cover the tab before you leave?
Yeah.
What? I'm sorry.
That is so rude.
It is so fucking rude. That is very audacious. And that's definitely crossing a line, and she needs to work on setting boundaries with these people and decide whether they're really her friends.
Yeah. Here's where my eyes sort of like, you could probably catch it in the video where I'm like, gotcha. She said it was her 20th birthday.
Yeah.
I'm like, there it is. There it is. Because she says she's in university. We call it college here in the States. And at that time, you really are just kind of friends with the people that you happen to see the most, right? If you're lucky, those turn out to be really cool people and you'll be friends forever. You create a bond. Sometimes in college, they are just the people that you happen to be around the most. And this should hopefully be a wake-up call for her that she's not surrounding herself with the right people. If not a single person at your own birthday gathering is going to offer to even buy you a drink, let alone cover the tab for others, when everybody is relatively well off, it sounds, then you do have people who are going to mooch on you. And I bet they knew exactly who her dad was. I bet they knew exactly who her dad was.
Maybe.
You know, and are just trying to play like, oh, I didn't know that. But like, please, they probably knew.
Regardless, it's just shitty to assume that just because your friend's parents make a lot of money that they're going to pay for everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's an update.
Okay.
So let me see what it says here. Thank you so much for the advice, guys. As of now, the best option seems to be to blame it on a third party, even if that may not be so kind to my dad. Ha ha. I might bring up that I have an allowance so I can start cutting back on expenses. To clarify a few details, I have been brought up to pay for others when they also do the same. It is always a nice gesture that has gone both ways. The reason I am starting to resent it is because now it seems one-sided. More than the money, what bothers me is the realization that my group of friends may never treat me, and I am always the one to splurge on them. It seems inherently one-sided. When I mentioned purchasing expensive items, I meant for myself. It has become almost a brand/identity that I have no intention of continuing. Whenever I don't spend much money, they pass comments like, oh, Miss Private Jet is using public transport. Or when I repeat outfits, don't you have enough money to have a new outfit every day? There were never remarks like this earlier. I'm sure they mean it as a joke, but these comments just get to me sometimes, since even normal activities I do are put under the spotlight now. It also adds to the archetype I am trying to separate myself from. My behavior has never changed upon being given the label. I get that it can easily become a self-fulfilling prophecy, but I have made sure to stay the same. Rather, it seems that my actions now are fitted to the title and attributed to it. The conversation regarding our backgrounds was bound to come up as we were getting to know each other. It was inevitable, and I couldn't hide it. Being secretive would imply it is a big deal when it's not. I gave brief details, however they ran with it. Lastly, I also realized I may have written this post quite strongly. I am unsure as to whether their behavior is intentional or they seriously have no idea. I guess the only way to find out is to inform them eventually.
Oh, sweetie. Sweetie, honey. No, honey, no. Nope, these aren't your people. These aren't your friends. You have valid anger about being mistreated and taken advantage of. You don't need to make up a story as to why you're not paying for things anymore. You need to look these motherfuckers in the eye and say, you have ridden my coattails for long enough. Find your own meal ticket. Peace out, losers. And that's what you do, not the asshole.
Love that. And I mean, in this explanation, like she kind of spelled it out for herself. If you're buying things to fit a certain archetype because your friends expect that of you now that they know you make a certain amount of money, that's just weird. And those are not your friends.
Go to an Al-Anon meeting. It's not just for alcoholics. It's for codependents. And you need to separate yourself from how other people see you and perceive you and start the lifelong battle to not be a people pleaser.
Yeah. I mean, it is very much a 20-year-old mindset. I think she has some really wonderful qualities, but she's just hanging out with the wrong people. These people don't appreciate her generosity. And that's the difference. You want to be friends with people that actually appreciate your generosity. We talked about this in our last episode.
Yeah.
That makes all the difference in the world when your friend is helping you out in a financial way, is that you're appreciative of it, that you're going to get them back in some way, that it's more than the money. It's about the love and the friendship and wanting to see each other succeed. These friends don't give a shit. In their minds, you've already succeeded. You're a spoiled brat who gets whatever they want.
Right. Exactly. So I say that she's not the asshole, but if she continues to be a people pleaser, she will be the asshole because people who fawn get to a point where you start to fight. And it started showing when she said, sure, I'll get the tab. And then she left. That is a shitty thing to do. Even though they had no right to ask her to pay for it, she said that she was going to, and then she bounced.
Yeah.
Which puts everybody in an awkward situation because they may have tried to leave and the bartender could have been like, you guys still have to tally up, right? So because she couldn't look him in the eye and say, I'm not paying for drinks I didn't consume, you guys figure it out, she's going to end up being the asshole if she lets people continue to walk all over her because you can only be walked on for so long before you start fighting back.
Yeah. And it seems like confrontation is also an issue for her, which falls under people pleasing. So get a life coach, maybe. You need somebody that's going to help hype you up and give you that confidence to put people in their place.
Yeah. Stop paying for their meals. Start paying for a therapist.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely not the asshole, just inexperienced.
Yeah, you got it. You're like 4 years away from that frontal lobe cortex being fully intact, lady. You got this.
Yes.
So we declare, not the asshole.
Declared.
All right. My next one. Am I the asshole for asking my friend to bring her own food when she asks to come over? I'm already chuckling at this first sentence.
Asking my friend to bring her own food when she asks to come over. Got it. Okay.
My friend has a pretty big appetite, and when she comes over, she frequently eats many of my groceries. I'm on a limited budget, and I cannot afford to feed her appetite. When she comes over, she will typically eat $40 to $60 worth of groceries. I'm all for feeding my guests refreshments and providing snacks and meals, and I only invite my friends over when I'm in the financial position to host. My friend in question asks me almost weekly if she can come over. She usually says she's having a hard time and needs a friend. I'm always hesitant to have her over because of the amount of groceries she helps herself to. If I have a full multi-pack of food, she will leave me with one or twos in addition to having whatever else she finds in my fridge or pantry. I recently addressed my concern with her and told her that if I invite her over, I plan on providing snacks/meals. However, if she asks to come over, she needs to provide her own food. She did not take this well and felt I was shaming her eating habits. She does have a tendency to find comfort in food and often struggles with overeating. And she pointed out that I didn't have this rule for any other friends, to which I tried to explain was because they never ate so much that I felt I needed to implement any kind of rules/restrictions. She said I was an asshole for shaming her for her biggest insecurity and for singling her out by creating rules for her that I don't have with other friends. I know she struggled with food, but still asked if she could supply her own snacks and meals when she comes over. Am I the asshole? Ooh.
I would say in your delivery, yes.
Yeah.
It's clearly a sensitive topic, for the friend. This is something that they struggle with. And I understand, like, you're struggling financially too. Like, you don't want someone eating all of your groceries for the week. I just think there's a better approach. Maybe something like the next time they ask to come over, like, oh yeah, sure, just make sure you eat first. Cause I'm like, things are really tight right now.
Yeah.
If you're hungry, eat before you come. Cause I already ate. Or I don't know. Maybe that's not.
I know. Like, how do you squeeze that in? Like, someone called, can I come over? I'm just so upset. Yeah, can you make sure to pick up your own food before you come, if you don't mind, just stopping at Subway?
Yep. Okay. You're right. I take it back.
I know. There's no good way, though. There's no good way. I mean, you could be deceitful and just take your best food and hide it before they come over, but that's not solving any problems.
First of all, it's rude of the friend to just start
rummaging.
Yeah, like, get out of my kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
If you want a snack, you can ask me if I have snacks, and I'll decide whether or not I want to provide snacks.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, if you're asking to come over, I have no obligation to go out of my way to nourish you.
Right. So I feel like there's a few different things. I mean, we could talk about what she should have done in the past. Not that that's going to help anything, because sounds like the damage has been done and her friend is already feeling guilted and shamed for what she did. So if you're in this situation and you don't know how to tell somebody, stop eating my food, I think it's okay to just say, hey, I want to be here to support you, and I'm so glad that you come to me when you're feeling upset. I am on a very, very tight budget, and I don't want to sound so frugal, but if you want to come over and we can have a little, like, nosh session, do you mind, like, bringing some snacks to contribute? Or maybe we can go in on, like, a pizza together when you get here. Like, let's split in order of something, maybe.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. That's a great approach. And it takes the shame and accusation out of it.
Right. Yeah, 100%. Or even, like, if you notice that they're eating a lot of food, just say, hey, should we just order something? Like, I didn't realize that you hadn't eaten before you got here. Do you want to just order a pizza? Because I don't want you eating my food. It's so tricky.
No, I think the way that you phrased it is perfect, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Because with these really touchy subjects, you do have to do a graceful dance around it. And I think the way that you put it, she's taking the blame off of the friend.
Mm-hmm.
And someone in general is going to respond better to that when they don't feel so attacked.
100%. You're taking somebody else's shame and you're turning it into your own shame, even if you don't feel shameful about it. So instead of being like, you're eating all my food, you need to stop and bring your own next time. Hey, I'm really embarrassed to admit, but, like, my grocery budget is just so thin, and I would love to be in a position where I could offer you more of it. Oh, it's so embarrassing. Like, I just don't have enough groceries to, like, provide for more people right now. Like, please don't judge me. And then the other person's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. You know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden they are trying to comfort your fake shame, and they're not thinking about the fact that, they might be dealing in problematic ways with their own stress.
Well, it's not even fake shame. Like she said, she's eating into my grocery budget.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, it's a very real thing.
It's kind of rude of the friend not to consider that.
Right.
It's just strange to me at all. Like, even my closest friends, I would not just start digging through their kitchen for food. I would ask, like, hey, do you have any snacks? Like, even when I go to visit you, you're like, do you want breakfast? I'm like, oh my gosh, you want to make me breakfast? That's so nice. Like, I don't expect it.
Right.
They're both kind of assholes.
They're both kind of assholes. They're both in the shit of their lives. You have one friend who is on a tight budget with food and is in a scarcity mindset, right? Someone who has an abundance of money is not going to care if a friend comes over and eats their food. They're just going to go to the grocery store and replenish. But when you're in a scarcity mindset, you're watching every chip just get popped.
Yes.
And you're like, that was going to be my snack dinner, but okay, I guess I will not eat. So cool. And on the other hand, you have a friend who is potentially dealing with binge eating disorder, and that has its own set of challenges and shame and sometimes secrecy around it. And that needs to be handled with kid gloves as well. So what do you think the OP should do moving forward if she wants to save this friendship?
Yeah, that's right. Because she's already said the thing.
Mm-hmm. She said the thing. Now they know. Now somebody said it.
Yeah, like your solution was what she could have done, but she didn't. To fix this, I think, OP, you owe your friend an apology.
Yeah.
And it needs to be an apology without a but.
Mm-hmm.
You need to keep it separate from the situation at hand, because now it's a whole new situation. This is about your friend and their eating habits and their weight. You got to just focus on that. You can talk about the food stuff later or once you've reconciled. Reconcile the friendship first. Don't make it about the food.
Right.
The food doesn't matter right now. Like, if you care about this friendship, you need to make sure your friend knows, like, you don't see them in this light.
Right. I do think that the OP needs to address, like, hey, I was projecting a lot on you because of my own situation. I didn't consider how it would make you feel to hear those things. And so I'm deeply sorry for that. I didn't mean to shame you for how you're eating. I was in a very stressful mindset when I said those things. So I want to be here for you. I want to figure out a solution. I don't want you to feel bad about what I said. And then maybe if your friend wants to meet, suggest meeting up at an all-you-can-eat buffet. Just change the venue, you know? Let's go to Chinatown. Go nuts. That's on your own dime.
Oh my God.
It's practical. It's a practical solution, okay? No one is making eye contact with another human being at an all-you-can-eat buffet. Everybody is just in their own shame spiral, sit in a tall booth.
And you think that's the best place to talk to your friend who might have an eating disorder?
Yeah. Look, she can address her own eating disorder, okay? The OP is not responsible for how the friend treats their body, but it can help. Put a cap on your spending and the friend can go to town.
You're going to stick with that?
It's an idea.
Okay. It is not an idea that I would share.
A therapist would never. And I get that. But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So what do we declare?
What do we declare? Kind of an asshole in this situation. You're the asshole.
I declare that she is the asshole. I know she didn't mean to be, but she just said too much at the end. Telling her friend, I don't have to make these rules on other people because they don't eat as much as you do, is an asshole way of handling the situation.
Yeah.
So, sorry, asshole.
I will say the consensus is not the asshole. And I'm going to read the top comment.
Okay.
Not the asshole. Two things can be true. She could be sensitive about her eating. She's using her eating issues and your friendship to take advantage of you. If you're trying to explain to her how she's putting you out by eating all your food and that you don't have that issue with anyone else, she should understand. If she keeps playing the victim instead of trying to understand your side, you may need to distance yourself from her. Maybe calculate how much money of yours she eats in a month and tell her. Not to shame her, but maybe she'll understand the numbers better than specifically talking about the food itself. So this is the opposite of the advice I gave.
I still think she's the asshole in the way that she handled it. I think her mentality...
It's the way she handled it, yes.
...is understandable, but the way that she spelled out the situation is asshole territory.
I completely understand being upset about your friend eating all their food. I also understand being frustrated that they are putting you in the position to confront them about this. It's really frustrating. I get it.
Yeah.
But your delivery sucked.
Your delivery sucked.
So.
Declared.
All
right. Last one. Robin, what do you got?
Am I the asshole for telling a friend exactly why my wife and I wouldn't go on a trip with her? My wife and I, both 32, both female, have a friend named Anna, 33. Anna is so sweet, very funny, and can also be very naive. While this isn't always a bad thing, she is at times ignorant of how the world works, /news, etc. Anna has a family that owns a large vacation property in another country. She's long wanted to take a French trip there and is finally planning on doing so. Multiple people have been invited, and this past weekend when she and I got coffee, my wife and I were invited. The problem is, homosexuality is criminalized in this country. Ooh. In case you missed it, I am a woman married to a woman, and I would not feel safe traveling there. I would especially be worried about my wife. She has a very classic butch look, whereas I am more feminine. I know a lot of times these laws will pertain more towards gay men, but still, we would not feel safe, and that's what matters. For what it's worth, my wife knew we were probably going to be invited and said, fuck no, to any idea of traveling there when I mentioned it. I didn't make a choice for the both of us by myself. I told Anna, no, I'm sorry, but my wife and I would not be able to travel there. Well, she pressed why, and I said, because we're gay. That country criminalizes gay people. She just said, oh, and kind of awkwardly changed the topic. Later, though, I got a text. She said she felt I embarrassed her for not knowing, and while she didn't know, it's not like she's homophobic or anything, just that she wants to go on a trip there, and why did I have to be so blunt about it? I'm really frustrated, and also I feel bad. I'm not sure why. I guess I could have made an excuse that airfare is pricey right now or that we had something else planned, but my wife is saying I didn't do anything wrong. I don't know. Am I the asshole? There's an edit. Forgot to add, but I didn't include which country because I felt it was wrong. The government, etc., makes these choices. I would feel bad putting the blame on a whole country that certainly has an LGBTQ population, hidden or not. It's in the Middle East, and that's all I'll say.
I was just Googling what countries criminalize it. Interesting. Well, I don't think that what she did was in any way an asshole thing. I mean, it sucks that her friend felt stupid for not knowing that.
Yeah, why is her ignorance your fucking problem?
Her ignorance is not your problem. And, I'm sure that was embarrassing for the friend, being like, oh my God, I didn't know that. I feel stupid. But she shouldn't project her feeling stupid about being ignorant to make the gay friend feel bad for even bringing that up.
Yeah, she's basically like, you should have educated me on this, and it was rude of you to respond that way.
How was it rude? By saying, hey, if I go there, I might be arrested in a foreign country, or maybe, who even knows? I don't know what the consequences are or what that would even look like, but I think it should hopefully spring the ignorant friend into action to just be a little bit more well-versed on how the world works. And
she sounds very privileged.
Very privileged. And sometimes people don't like being called out on their privilege. And that can be uncomfy.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like she took those feelings of being uncomfortable about being called out on that and threw it right back so that she wasn't the only one who felt bad.
Well, and I find it ironic that her parents own property in this country, which means you've probably been there several times,
right.
Which means you probably know their position on that. Or you are so privileged that you are so far removed, right?
Right.
There's just no scenario where OP is the asshole.
Right. No, the OP is definitely not the asshole. And I think you're right. Yeah. Your family owning property in another country already tells me that you are better off than the majority of the world. So let's just face it. And if you really want to call this gay couple your friends, then you need to step it up. You need to do your homework.
You need to educate yourself.
Because accepting someone is not the same as advocating for someone.
Yes.
And a true friend will advocate for you, not make you feel bad.
And you know what? Let's forget that they're in their 30s and she just didn't know this. Let's pretend she didn't respond like an asshole and was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I'm so sorry. Of course, like, I understand you not wanting to come. You don't feel safe. I care so much about your safety. Like, she's focusing more on her feelings being hurt and her being like called out than OP just talking about their safety concerns.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with we don't like you. It's we're not going to a country where people don't accept who we are.
Not even don't accept. I mean, will literally lock us up.
Yeah.
Where we have to pretend that we're roommates or cousins or essentially be back in the closet. Like where somebody could take one look at her wife and say, hey, you know, pull her aside, question her extra hard at the airport.
It's so dangerous.
To not consider the larger safety concerns that your friends may experience in a country that you've obviously been to throughout your life, I'm assuming, if your family owns property there, is very ignorant. But it never fails to amaze me how many privileged people just want to be the victim. It's like the one status they can't have is the status of being oppressed. So they will find any excuse to make themselves feel oppressed because it's the one thing that they can't buy. It's the one thing that they don't have. So the privileged friend turning this situation around and feeling like she was the one that was wronged is gross, but not surprising to me.
Well put. And something else that occurred to me is, you know, just because this property is in a Middle Eastern country doesn't necessarily mean that this person is Middle Eastern. However, I feel like it's common knowledge, the general oppression in the Middle East, and that if you are inviting your gay friends to a country in the Middle East, you might think to do your own research first.
Yeah.
Before inviting them. Like, would they have a good time if they came? Or would they be scared for their lives?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. So hopefully this can be a learning opportunity for their friend. Hopefully she can educate herself. It is not the poster's responsibility to educate her friend on how to be an advocate.
Nope.
If the friend is a true friend, she will take this as a learning experience, educate herself, and learn what an advocate is.
Exactly. There's no shame in not having known that. There is shame in the way you reacted.
Right. Now that you know better, you better do better.
Yeah. And she's not. I want to read the top comment.
Please do.
Not the asshole. Let me get this straight. Your rich friend can walk around with the privilege of not thinking about the bad things about the world. And when things not directly about her are brought up in the context of your safety, she gets mad at you? You need to rethink this friendship. At 33, she is choosing to be this ignorant. 100%.
Ding, 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 ding.
Boom. That's what it is. That's what it is.
That's what it is. Well, I declare this sweet friend not the asshole.
Not the asshole. Declared.
Declared.
All right. It's time for Class Act of the Week. This is where we shine a spotlight on someone who's gone above and beyond, showing that true class isn't just about style, it's about kindness, integrity, and lifting others up. Whether it's a friend who showed up when you need them, a stranger who did something unexpectedly generous, or a public figure reminding us what grace really looks like, we're here to give them a well-deserved shout-out. So, Deborah, who's our Class Act of the Week?
It's parasocial relationship time.
Oh, great.
I know. I have some other ones, but man, this saga that I'm following on TikTok right now is just encompasses all the reasons that I love TikTok, that I feel like it's a platform that allows you to organically follow a story, if you will. Like the algorithm knows to just like feed you the breadcrumbs and like continue to feed you a story and watch it take shape. So there is a songwriter on this app whose handle is Olive Songs, and he challenged himself to write a song every single day, even if it was just a little one. And around Groundhog's Day, he came up with an idea for a musical about Punxsutawney Phil, the groundhog, obviously, that tells us if there's going to be 6 more weeks of winter.
Yeah.
And the scenario is that Punxsutawney Phil has taken an elixir that makes him live forever. But his wife Phyllis did not take the elixir. So he wrote this song called The Ballad of Phil and Phyllis. And the song is about how nothing should live forever. Like nothing lasts forever, but he will live forever because he took the elixir. And, you know, it's just like this cute little ditty. And then all these creators started kind of getting in on it. Like if you follow 𝗬𝗓 Myers, who's an awesome creator, she stitched a duet where she sang Phyllis's part and talks about how the fact that like every Groundhog's Day, it's kind of a touchy subject because, you know, this is the reason why he gets to live forever, but she can't. And it just kind of gained a lot of lore to the point where he actually produced a full 5-minute song and did a professional recording with Joy Woods, who is a Tony Award nominated Broadway musical artist. She's been in musicals like Six, the musical version of The Notebook, amazing voice. And now that song is on Spotify, and I legit would not be surprised if it eventually gets flushed out as a whole musical because the song is incredible, the vocal performances are incredible, and the idea is adorable.
Wow.
2 groundhogs, one lives forever and the other will not. And I just want to know more. I want him to write more songs about it. I want to see this. I love musical theater so much. I wish I had more of a disposable income to like go to theater more because just nothing fills my heart with joy more than watching performers sing and dance. It's like they get to just be their full uninhibited self on stage. And there's just something so addictive about that. And you got to listen to the song. And someone pointed out, they're like, because my FYP right now, like every 5 videos is someone either reacting to the song or clips of it. They were featured on, I think, CBS This Morning or whatever the CBS morning show is. For me, I'm like, everybody knows what this song is. No, the guy only has like 11,000 followers on TikTok or like something small like that, like not a huge creator. The song has only been like redone like a handful of times. Like, I can't believe more people are not talking about this. So I wanted to use this as an opportunity. Follow Olive Songs on TikTok. Listen to The Ballad of Phil and Phyllis. It is so cute. It is so pure. And, you know, you kind of touched on it in your intro of this segment. Like, the reason it became a song is because so many people were encouraging him. Keep going. This is great. We want more. And that's why I think there are aspects of the TikTok community that can be so powerful because this was just one song. And he still is doing the challenge, by the way. In addition to producing the song, like he's still pumping out a new song every single day as a composer, right?
That's amazing.
But talk about just like putting it out there and people seeing where it can go and just encouraging it forward. So hopefully we will get a Groundhog's Day musical and we can see The Ballad of Phil and Phyllis on Broadway one day because it is so cute. So that
I love
is
it.
my class act of the week.
Oh my gosh, that is so darling. Also, we know a Phil and Phyllis who are married.
Oh, that's right.
Isn't that funny?
Is funny.
I love it. All right, it is time for our favorite segment, Class or Crass. This is a segment where we take those awkward, tricky friendship moments and ask, is it classy or is it crass? So here's the scenario. A friend asks for your honest opinion on an outfit, but you're not a fan of it. Is it classy to tell the truth or is it better to find something positive to say?
I say both, right? Find a nice way to tell them, I don't think it's your best look. Now, your true friends will never let you leave the house looking like a fool, right?
Totally.
So I feel like there's a responsibility. It's like telling somebody they have food in their teeth or that they have a visible booger in their nose.
Yes. And if you're the kind of friend that gets embarrassed when someone points that out, like, you need to reflect because they're just trying to help you out.
Yeah. Look at the intentionality.
Maybe tone down the ego.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. It's your ego.
Yeah.
How embarrassing to have food in your teeth like a normal human who puts food in their mouth.
Right. You're going to get some shrapnel, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I would say it is classy to tell the truth. It's just how you go about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have formed a really lovely relationship with Seth around this because I used to get upset when he would tell me that something looked bad on me because you want your partner to think you look amazing all the time.
Yeah.
But it got to a point where I was like, okay, he is actually the best person to tell me whether or not something looks good. And so when he does say, I don't like how that looks on you, like I 100% believe him when he tells me when something looks good.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to build that kind of honesty and trust with your friends too.
Absolutely. There's a quote I heard that honesty without tact is cruelty.
Ooh, yeah.
So if someone comes out and let's say it's just too tight, it's not flattering on their figure, or it's a color that flushes them out, and you're like, oh, I don't like that at all. That's honest and true. But saying it like that is cruel to the person who maybe they loved it. Maybe they didn't see their own imperfections the way that you clocked them. Or maybe they were hoping that nobody else would see it. They got to a point where they're like, oh, I'm just being self-conscious and it's a little tight on my belly, but I bet no one's going to notice. And you step out and someone's like, you look like 6 pounds of sausage in a 5-pound casing, right? Someone just hits you with that and you're like, ugh. Now, not only do you not like your outfit, but you feel super insecure. So
I was just going to say, as women, we have helped our friends throughout our lives choose outfits. We are professionals at this. So there's no reason why you shouldn't have a tactful way to approach this kind of situation. One thing you can do, ask them first. Well, how do you feel about it?
I see right through that shit.
No. Listen.
Okay.
They walk out like, what do you think of this? If you're not sure what to say yet, ask them how they feel about it. Like, well, I am feeling like it's revealing in this area. And then you can either confirm or deny whether that's, you're like, yeah, maybe you could put something on that better accentuates that area. Or like, I love this dress. I just wish it was a different color.
Yeah.
Like maybe we can find something in a different color. Like with me, I struggle with white because I have very fair skin. And so certain whites can wash me out and like either my skin looks dirty or the shirt looks dirty.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It just doesn't work sometimes, certain whites. So I'm hyper aware of that when I'm trying things on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually something I'm already thinking about when I am showing my outfit to a friend.
Yeah.
You know, like I already know the weaknesses in my mind. It's like, someone tell me I'm wrong. And if they are not telling me I'm wrong, I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't need to buy this.
Right. I think context is everything. If they're asking for your honest opinion on an outfit and they don't have anything else to wear, right? Maybe they've already shown up to your house and they have that last minute, like, be honest, like, do I look dumb? But there's no other option for them to change, right? Like, they're in the outfit. There's very little that can be done. Handle it gracefully. Maybe suggest small accessory changes or...
Yeah. Can we change the shoes?
Do you want to borrow a jacket, or I don't know if it's going to be as fancy as that. Maybe we'll dress it down with some casual shoes instead of those 6-inch heels. But you got to know, like, what are their options, right? Now, if they're in their own closet and there's options galore, give them that feedback because you don't want them in their head all night feeling insecure about what they're wearing. And if they are asking for your honest opinion, then they want you to give it to them, right?
Yes.
I struggle with giving people full honest opinions because I don't want to hurt their feelings. And I have been the recipient of getting unsolicited feedback on what I wear.
See, when it's unsolicited.
No bueno.
Never okay. Unless it's your BFFFF.
Mm-hmm.
And you're used to talking to each other that way.
Yeah.
You're used to being straight. Like, there's very few people in anyone's life that gets that privilege,
right,
of being that brutally honest.
Yeah. So say it gracefully, be constructive, not critical, and, pump their tires in every other way. I love the hair. Hair looks great. Oh my gosh, your body looks amazing in that dress.
Yeah.
It is kind of a conservative event. Do we have a shawl to cover up those knockers because your boobs look great, but maybe let's not wear that to a baptism? You know what I mean? Like, give them constructive feedback, but
yeah,
put a positive spin on the honesty.
Yes. And it shouldn't be hard to do because this is someone you love.
Yep.
And you want them to feel beautiful. They are beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say it's classy to be honest. Just come at it with a positive twist, come at it with solutions, and find ways to let them know that they are beautiful.
Mm-hmm. That's all anybody wants to hear.
Yeah. Constructive feedback is always welcome, is what I like to, like, whether it's my work, my outfits, like anything. Like, I'm okay with receiving constructive feedback, but don't just pick apart my shit without providing a solution.
Right.
I'm like, okay, so what are you going to do about it? Just wanted to make me feel bad about myself?
Right.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Did you watch Fleabag?
I did.
There is a great flashback scene with Fleabag and her best friend Boo where they're shopping in the dressing rooms and Fleabag exits her dressing room and Boo is like, oh, no, absolutely not. That does nothing for you. I hate that. No, please don't get that. And Fleabag's just standing there and she's like, this is literally the outfit I wore here. I've been wearing this all day. And Boo's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. But I love that scene because it just shows how close they are, where Boo could just be like totally honest about an outfit that she thought Fleabag was getting. And it was just so funny that she was, criticizing her own choice that she had made. It's so good.
That is hilarious.
That's it for today's episode. We want to hear from you. Have you ever been in a situation where a friend expected too much, crossed a line, or just didn't get it?
Send us your own Am I the Asshole stories, or let us know what you think about today's dilemmas. You might just hear your story on a future episode.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Art of Classiness. And leave us a review if you enjoyed this episode. It really helps us keep these conversations going.
Thanks for hanging with us. We'll see you next time. And remember, classy is a state of mind.
So mind your classiness.
Bye!